The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor of the penthouse suite, its golden liquid pooling like spilled secrets at our feet. Jordan's lips crashed into mine with a desperation that tasted of bourbon and buried truths, his hands gripping my shoulders as if I were the only anchor in his storm-tossed world. In that stolen moment on his wedding night, with his bride waiting downstairs amid laughter and toasts, my best friend of 15 years confessed the love we'd both pretended wasn't there, and it ripped our lives wide open. I remember the way the city lights flickered through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting erratic shadows across Jordan's face as he pulled back, his breath ragged, eyes wild with a mix of terror and relief. We were 28, both of us, forged in the relentless grind of New York. Me, Alex Rivera, a graphic designer scraping by in Brooklyn lofts that smelled of fresh paint and regret. Him, Jordan Hale, the golden boy from a Connecticut suburb who'd clawed his way into a midtown finance job, all sharp suits and sharper smiles. Our friendship had started in freshman year at NYU, two lost souls bonding over late-night ramen and dreams of escaping the ordinary. He'd been the one to pull me out of my shell, teaching me to hail cabs in the rain and laugh at life's cruelties. I'd been his sounding board, the guy who'd listen when the weight of expectations, from his conservative family, from a society that demanded straight lines, threatened to crush him. But tonight, in the opulent glow of the Plaza Hotel, where his wedding to Emily had unfolded like a scripted fairy tale, everything unraveled. Emily, beautiful, ambitious Emily, with her cascade of auburn hair and a laugh that could disarm a room, was the perfect match on paper. They'd met at a gala 2 years back, her in an emerald gown that hugged her curves, him in his element charming donors for some nonprofit cause. She was a rising star at a publishing house, he the provider with a trust fund safety net. Their engagement had been announced in the society pages, a union of old money and new ambition. I'd stood as best man, grinning through the rehearsal dinner toasts, ignoring the hollow ache in my chest every time Jordan's hand brushed mine. Now, here we were, alone in the suite he'd booked for the honeymoon that would never happen. The door to the adjoining room stood ajar, where Emily's bridesmaids had helped her into silk pajamas, giggling about morning after mimosas. Jordan paced, running a hand through his hair, the tuxedo jacket discarded on the velvet chaise. "Alex, God, what have I done?" His voice cracked, that polished baritone fracturing like thin ice. I stepped forward, my heart pounding a rhythm I'd long suppressed. "You kissed me, Jordan, on your wedding night. That's what you did." The words hung heavy, laced with the accusation I'd never voiced. Why now? Why like this? He stopped, turning to face me, his green eyes searching mine for absolution. "It's not just the kiss. It's everything. The vows, the ring on my finger, it's all a lie. Emily deserves better. I deserve us." The last word escaped him like a prayer, soft and sacred, and in that instant, the dam broke. 15 years of shared secrets, of stolen glances during movie marathons in my cramped apartment, of him crashing on my couch after family dinners where his father's homophobic jabs cut deeper than any knife. They all flooded back. It started innocently enough, our bond. Freshman orientation, 2012, and New York was a beast, swallowing us whole. I was the kid from Queens, first-gen Puerto Rican, navigating scholarships and the fear of fading into invisibility. Jordan, with his prep school polish and a backpack full of Ivy League rejection letters, spotted me fumbling with a Metro card in the Washington Square drizzle. "Hey, let me show you the trick," he'd said, swiping it with a flourish that made me laugh for the first time in weeks. From there, it was us against the city, dodging tourists in Times Square, sneaking into rooftop parties in the Village, whispering philosophies over falafel at 2 a.m. By sophomore year, we'd rented a shoebox off campus in the East Village, walls papered with band posters and my sketches. Jordan dated girls, cheerleaders from high school summers, artsy types from poetry slams. But there was always this undercurrent, a hesitation in his stories. "She's great, Alex, but..." And I'd nod, pretending not to notice how his gaze lingered on me when I stripped down for a shower after a pickup basketball game in the park. I had my own flings, guys from apps who never stuck, because none of them saw the world like Jordan did, like it was a canvas waiting for our bold strokes. Graduation came, and we scattered. Me to a freelance gig designing album covers for indie bands, him to a desk at Goldman Sachs, crunching numbers that paid for his tailored shirts. But we never lost touch. Friday nights were sacred, craft beers at a dive in Williamsburg, debating everything from climate policy to the latest Scorsese flick. He'd vent about boardroom politics, the pressure to climb, to marry right, to embody the Hale legacy. His parents, Richard and Margaret, were pillars of Fairfield County society. Him a hedge fund titan, her a patron of the arts who volunteered at food banks but whispered slurs at dinner. Son, find a nice girl. Settle down. Make us proud. Jordan parroted it back, but his eyes would dim, and I'd squeeze his knee under the table, a silent promise. I'm here. Emily entered the picture like a plot twist. I met her at Jordan's firm holiday party, 2023, the air thick with eggnog and ambition. She was magnetic, 30, sharp-witted, with a tattoo of a quill peeking from her blouse sleeve. So you're the infamous Alex, she'd said, clinking her glass to mine. Jordan talks about you like you're his North Star. I forced a smile, ignoring the twist in my gut. Over the next months, I watched them build. Weekend getaways to the Hamptons, her influencing his ties, him softening her edges. When he proposed on a yacht off Manhattan, diamond glinting like a challenge, I clapped at the engagement party in the Rainbow Room. But that night, alone in my bed, I wept for the first time since my abuela's funeral. The wedding planning blurred into a haze. Bridal showers, tux fittings, my speech rewritten a dozen times to hide the tremor in my voice. Jordan pulled me aside one afternoon in Central Park, leaves crunching underfoot as autumn bit the air. You're my rock, man. Couldn't do this without you. His hug lingered, his cologne, sandalwood and citrus, imprinting on my skin. I wanted to say, then don't. Choose me. But I swallowed it like always. Now, in the suite, with the clock ticking toward dawn, Jordan sank onto the edge of the king-sized bed, head in hands. I thought I could bury it, Alex. The feelings. For her, for them, for everyone but you. His confession spilled out in fragments. The first time he'd questioned it. Age 16, stealing glances at the quarterback in the locker room. The college nights he'd wake from dreams of my face, guilt twisting like a knife. The therapy sessions he'd hidden, labeled stress management to appease his folks. I knelt before him, our knees brushing, the carpet soft under my palms. Why tonight? Why not yesterday, or last year? My voice was raw, laced with the hurt of 1,000 unspoken nights. Because seeing you in that best man suit, standing there, proud and alone, it hit me. This life's a cage, and you're the key. He lifted his gaze, tears tracing paths down his cheeks, and in that vulnerability, I saw the boy I'd met all those years ago, fragile, fierce mine. We talked until the sky lightened to periwinkle, words weaving through the silence like threads pulling us closer. He described the panic during the vows, the ring feeling like shackles as the officiant droned on about forever. How? In the receiving line, my hand in his for a congratulatory shake had ignited a fire he'd doused for too long. I slipped away, told Emily I needed air. Found you on the balcony, smoking that damn clove cigarette you swore you'd quit. I laughed, a broken sound. And then you did the unthinkable. His hand found mine, fingers interlacing with a certainty that stole my breath. Was it unthinkable? Or inevitable? The door creaked open then, Emily's silhouette framed in the hallway light, her robe belted tight, eyes wide with confusion. Jordan? Alex? What's going on? Time fractured. Jordan's grip tightened, a lifeline in the chaos. I stood, heart slamming, as the woman who'd almost become his wife stepped into our unraveling world. Her gaze darted between us, the disheveled groom, the flushed best man, the air thick with unspoken electricity. I heard glass breaking, thought something was wrong. Jordan rose, releasing my hand, but not my eyes. There's something I have to tell you. Something I should have said months ago. She crossed her arms, a fortress building. If this is cold feet, Jordan, we can talk. But Alex, why him? Now, the accusation stung, but Jordan held steady. Because he's the reason. The truth I've been running from. I'm gay, Emily. Or bi, or whatever label fits, but I'm in love with him. The words landed like thunder, her face paling as the reality sank in. She didn't scream, didn't storm out. Instead, she sank into an armchair, the fight draining from her posture. I knew something was off. The distance, the way you'd look at him across rooms. But I thought, God, I wanted it to be us. Guilt clawed at me, but Jordan knelt beside her, voice gentle. You are incredible. This isn't about you not being enough. It's me, finally being honest. We sat there as the sun crested the skyline, a triad bound by betrayal and budding grace. Emily cried, quiet sobs that echoed my own regrets. I offered tissues, water, apologies that felt inadequate. Hours blurred into negotiations, not of divorce papers, but of futures rewritten. She agreed to the annulment, her practicality shining through the pain. I'll tell everyone food poisoning derailed the honeymoon. Buy us time. By noon, the suite felt like a battlefield strewn with wilted roses and half-eaten cake from the minibar. Jordan's family called, his mother cooing about grandbabies, his father gruff with stock tips. He let it ring, turning to me instead. What now, Alex? For us. I traced the line of his jaw, memorizing the warmth. We figure it out. Together. No more hiding. But freedom's price loomed. That afternoon, as Emily packed her things with a dignity that shamed us both, Jordan's phone buzzed incessantly. His boss. Then his father. Rumors swirling from a nosy guest who'd glimpsed our balcony interlude. Hail, what the hell's this about a scene at the plaza? Richard's voice boomed through speakerphone, laced with disdain. If you're pulling some queer stunt. Dad. Jordan cut in, steel in his spine. It's not a stunt. It's me. And if that costs me the family name, so be it. The line went dead. Silence swallowed us, broken only by Emily's soft goodbye kiss on Jordan's cheek. Be happy. Both of you. She left with her head high, a chapter closing on her terms. Jordan and I collapsed onto the bed, exhaustion claiming us. As sleep tugged, his head on my chest, I whispered into his hair. This changes everything. He murmured back, good. It's about time. Waking to the relentless honk of Manhattan traffic filtering through the curtains, I felt Jordan's weight against me. A tangible shift from dream to reality. The suite, once a symbol of matrimonial bliss, now hummed with the awkward intimacy of aftermath, scattered tuxedo pants, a forgotten veil draped over a lamp like a ghost. He stirred, green eyes fluttering open, and for a heartbeat, panic flashed. Had last night been a fevered hallucination? But then his smile broke, tentative and true, and he leaned in, pressing a kiss to my collarbone that sealed it. No turning back. We showered together, the steam curling around us like forgiving fog, hands exploring with a reverence born of years denied. Jordan's body, lean from weekend hikes in the Palisades, fit against mine in ways I'd only imagined during lonely subway rides home. Laughter bubbled up as soap suds slipped, easing the tension, but beneath it lurked the storm. What do we tell people? He asked, toweling off, his voice muffled by terry cloth. Nothing yet. Let the dust settle. I pulled on jeans and a faded Ramones tee, the casual armor of my old life. We ordered room service, pancakes drowning in syrup, a hedonistic denial of the calories we'd burn running from this. As we ate cross-legged on the floor, forks clinking, Jordan's phone lit up again. Not family this time, but friends. Text from the groomsmen group chat, emojis masking concern. Dude, Emily bailed? What's the tea? He showed me, chuckling bitterly. The tea is where the scandal now. But his thumb hovered over the screen, hesitation etching lines around his mouth. Our circle, diverse as New York itself, from queer artists in Bushwick to straight-laced brokers in Tribeca, had always accepted us as the unbreakable duo. Would they see this as betrayal or breakthrough? Afternoon brought the first fracture. We ventured out, masks of normalcy in place, hailing a cab to my Brooklyn walk-up. The driver, a grizzled cabbie with a Yankees cap, eyed Jordan's rumpled shirt. Rough night, fellas? Jordan quipped back, you have no idea. And we dissolved into shared grins, the city's pulse syncing with our own erratic beat. My apartment greeted us like an old friend, exposed brick walls adorned with my digital prints, a kitchenette perpetually scented with coffee grounds. Jordan flopped onto the sagging couch, surveying the chaos. This is us, huh? No frills, just real. He pulled me down beside him, our legs tangling, and for an hour, we lost ourselves in lazy kisses, the world reduced to the scrape of stubble and whispered endearments. Then the knock came, insistent, like fate knocking twice. It was Marcus, my neighbor and occasional collaborator, a burly black photographer in his 40s with a lens for truth. Heard the buzz, Alex. Wedding crashers? His hug was bearish, eyes twinkling, but they sharpened on Jordan. You okay, kid? Jordan nodded, but Marcus lingered, pouring cheap whiskey into mismatched mugs. Look, I've seen enough love stories through my viewfinder to know. The good ones hurt before they heal. But hiding? That's poison. His words, drawn from his own marriage's ashes after coming out at 50, hung wise and waited. We confessed in fragments. The kiss, the annulment, the fear, and Marcus listened, nodding like a sage. Own it. The city's big enough for your truth. Emboldened, Jordan called Emily that evening. On speaker, her voice was steady, laced with wry humor. Therapy starts tomorrow. For me, not you two lovebirds. She paused, softening. Seriously, though, talk to your folks. Rip the Band-Aid. Gratitude swelled in my chest. In her grace, I saw the humanity we'd nearly erased. Night fell, and with it, Jordan's resolve cracked. Curled under my threadbare quilt, he traced patterns on my arm. My dad's gonna disown me. Mom'll cry for weeks. And the job, finance isn't exactly rainbow-friendly. His vulnerability cracked me open, memories surging. The summer after college, when he'd crashed here post-breakup, drunk on cheap tequila, sobbing about feeling broken. I'd held him then, platonic lines blurring in the dark, and vowed silently to fix what I couldn't name. "You're not broken," I murmured now, echoing that night. "You're brave. And I'm proud, terrified, but proud." Our lovemaking followed, slow and sacred, bodies learning the language of lovers. In the afterglow, he slept soundly, but I lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, plotting our defense. Morning brought confrontation. Richard Hale's email arrived like a summons. Family meeting. Soho House. Noon. No excuses. Jordan's face drained of color, but he dressed in borrowed chinos and a button-down, chin lifted. "Come with me." The cab ride downtown was silent agony, skyscrapers blurring into judgmental sentinels. Soho House buzzed with the elite, models nursing lattes, execs sealing deals, but Richard dominated a corner booth, silver hair impeccable, face a mask of controlled fury. Margaret sat beside him, pearls clutched like rosaries, eyes red-rimmed. "Son," Richard began, voice low thunder, "explain yourself. Parading that display on your wedding night, in front of God and guests." Jordan's hand found mine under the table, a secret steal. "It wasn't a display, Dad. It was honesty. I'm gay. Alex and I, we're together." Margaret gasped, hand to mouth, but Richard leaned forward, eyes like flints. "Gay? After all we've given you? The education, the connections? This is a phase, a rebellion. Fix it, or you're cut off." The words landed like blows, but Jordan didn't flinch. "Cut me off then. I won't live a lie for your legacy." He stood, pulling me up, and we walked out, past stairs, into the crisp October air. On the sidewalk, he exhaled shakily. That was liberating. We wandered the village, hand in hand for the first time in public, the autumn leaves crunching like applause. Street musicians strummed folk tunes, vendors hawked apple cider, and in that mundane magic, we rebuilt. Lunch at a queer-owned cafe, falafel wraps with extra tahini, tasted like victory. Jordan's phone pinged, a text from his sister, Lila, 25 and a grad student in Boston. "Heard from Mom. Support you 100%. Call me." Relief washed over him, and as we strolled Washington Square archway framing our future, he stopped, cupping my face. "This is worth it. You are." But shadows lingered. Back in Brooklyn, my own ghost stirred. My familia, scattered across Queens, devout Catholics who'd embraced my queerness with cautious love, texted concern. "Mijo, is Jordan okay?" Wedding news everywhere. I called Abuela Rosa, her voice warm as empanadas. "Amor, life twists like lianas. Hold tight to truth." Her blessing, hard-won from her own widowhood's secrets, fortified us. Evening deepened the intimacy. We cooked, paella from my mother's recipe, saffron staining our fingers gold, trading stories of what-ifs. "Remember that road trip to Niagara?" Jordan mused, stirring rice. "Junior year, blizzards trapping us in that motel." I almost said it then. I added shrimp, grinning. "I know." Felt the air crackle. Laughter bridged the gaps, but as plates cleared, doubt crept in. "Your job, Jordan. Saks won't wave a pride flag overnight." He nodded, sobering. Resignation letters half-written. Thinking boutique firms, ones that value integrity over spreadsheets. His ambition, once a gilded cage, now flexed free. We made love again, urgent this time, bodies affirming what words couldn't. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he whispered, "I love you, Alex. Always have." Echoed back, it was a vow stronger than any ring. Yet dawn brought the backlash's bite. Jordan's inbox overflowed. Colleagues' icy congratulations laced with slurs, a viral tweet from a wedding guest twisting our kiss into tabloid fodder. Finance bros gave bombshell at plaza nuptials. Best man steals the show. Comments swarmed, vitriol from strangers, fakers. Attention whores. He slammed the laptop shut, fury etching his features. "How do we fight this?" "By living louder," I said, pulling him to the window. Brooklyn Bridge spanned the East River, lights winking like allies. New York seen worse. We'll thrive. That resolve carried us through the day, job hunts for him, client calls for me. By night, Marcus dropped by with takeout and tales of his own coming-out wars, picketing in the 90s, love lost and found. Build your tribe, he advised, toasting with beer bottles. And remember, love's the ultimate fuck you to fear. As he left, Jordan turned to me, eyes alight. He's right. Let's make this ours. In the quiet, we planned a weekend escape to the Catskills, fresh starts sketched on napkins. But as sleep claimed him, I pondered the road ahead. Not just romance's bloom, but the thorns of societal scars, familial rifts. Our story wasn't fairy tale. It was raw, redemptive American grit. The Catskills trip was our baptism, a 2-day purge from the city's clamor. We piled into my beat-up Subaru, Jordan insisting on driving, his hands steady on the wheel as fall foliage blazed crimson and gold along the Taconic Parkway. The radio hummed indie folk, lyrics about wandering hearts mirroring our own. No signals up here, he said, glancing over with a grin that crinkled his eyes. Just us in the woods. My place was a rustic A-frame inherited from a distant uncle, perched on a hill overlooking mist-shrouded valleys. No Wi-Fi, spotty cell, just crackling fireplaces and a kitchen stocked with canned goods. We arrived at dusk, unloading groceries, steaks for the grill, wine from a Hudson Valley vineyard, our laughter echoing off pine trees. Inside, I built a fire while Jordan unpacked, his movements domestic, endearing. This feels like a honeymoon we actually want, he quipped, uncorking Merlot. Dinner unfolded on the deck, stars pricking the velvet sky, the air crisp with wood smoke. We talked futures, him eyeing sustainable finance startups, me dreaming of a gallery show for my designs. Vulnerability surfaced over second glasses, Jordan admitting therapy sessions unearthed buried shame from youth, taunts in boarding school hallways. Felt like an alien. You were my gravity. I shared my own scars. The high school bully who outed me prematurely, the family's initial silence that cut deeper than shouts. But we survived. We'll survive this. Night deepened intimacy. In the loft bed, under quilts heavy as history, we explored unhurriedly. Kisses tracing collarbones, hands mapping terrains long fantasized. Dawn found us entwined, birdsong filtering through eaves, a fragile peace. But peace fractured mid-morning. A bar of service pinged on Jordan's phone, voicemails from Richard, escalating from pleas to ultimatums. Come home. We'll get you help, real help. The word help dripped condescension, implying cure for an affliction. Jordan's jaw tightened, but he deleted them, choosing instead a hike to Cotterskill Falls. The trail wound steep, roots snaking like veins, our breaths sinking in rhythm. At the crest, waterfall thundering into a gorge, he stopped, chest heaving. This, nature, its purity. Why can't they see? I pulled him close, mist dampening our shirts. They might someday. Or not. But we don't need their map. Back at the cabin, resolve hardened. He drafted his resignation email, fingers flying, pursuing passions aligned with my authentic self. Sent with an exhale, it was liberation's first step. Sunday's drive home buzzed with possibility, but reality reasserted in traffic-clogged bridges. My phone lit with a call from Lila. Mom's a wreck, but she's cracking. Mentioned PFLAG meetings, subtly. Hope flickered. Margaret's artsy soul might bend toward empathy. Brooklyn welcomed us with autumn markets, pumpkin spice wafting from stalls, kids in hoodies chasing leaves. We dove into routine, Jordan pounding pavement for interviews, me buried in deadlines for a band's tour posters. Evenings were sanctuary, cooking experiments, his risotto, my Eros con gandals, Netflix binges where hands wandered mid-episode. Yet ripples spread. A coffee run turned heads, 2 guys in line at devotion, barista winking knowingly. Saw the tweet storm. Y'all cute. Flattery mingled with wariness, not all glances warmed. The real test came midweek. A bar invite from our old crew at the Abbey, a dimly lit Williamsburg haunt with rainbow flags fluttering like banners. Reunion sans drama, the group text read. Jordan hesitated, scars fresh. What if they side-eye us? Or celebrate? I countered. We went, dressed sharp, him in slim chinos, me in a Henley that hugged my frame. The place thrummed, craft cocktails, bass-heavy playlists, bodies swaying. Marcus waved us over, his booth a haven amid the throng. Cheers erupted, hugs, backslaps, shots of espresso tequila. But undercurrents swirled. Sarah, a groomsmaid and Emily's confidant, eyed Jordan coolly. She okay? She asked, voice-edged. She's tough. Thriving, actually. He bought her around. Conversation thawing over shared work woes. Others probed gently. So, best friends too. More? Spill. We did, in fits and starts. The kiss, The fallout, the fire it kindled. Laughter lightened it. Toasts followed. To late bloomers. Not all embraced seamlessly. Tom, the straight-laced accountant, mumbled awkward congrats. But the night bent toward acceptance, a microcosm of our patchwork city. Stumbling home arm in arm, buzzed on booze and belonging, Jordan spun me against a lamppost. That wasn't so bad. His kiss tasted of lime and promise, streetlights haloing us like reluctant saints. Monday brought professional tempests. Jordan's inbox held a terse HR note from Saks. Exit interview scheduled. Discretion appreciated. We prepped in my kitchen, role-playing tough questions. Why now, he practiced. Because integrity trumps illusion. The meeting, virtual over Zoom's sterile grid, was clinical. A suit named Karen nodding sympathetically, allusions to personal matters, veiling judgment. We wish you well, she said, but the subtext screamed severance. Jordan logged off, triumphant. Free. Emboldened, he networked. LinkedIn messages to queer-led firms, coffee chats with mentors like Marcus. I tagged along to one, a loft in Dumbo overlooking the river, where advisor Elena, a Latina powerhouse in impact investing, grilled him kindly. Authenticity sells. Lean in. Her card burned in his pocket like talisman. Homefront simmered. Lila visited Friday, train ticket stubbed, arms laden with Connecticut care packages, his favorite wool socks, a scarf knitted by Margaret, silent olive branch. Over pizza on my fire escape, overlooking brownstones aglow, she bridged gaps. Mom's reading, books on acceptance. Dad's, processing via golf. Jordan's relief was palpable, sibling love as salve. As she departed, hugging us fiercely, the city skyline twinkled complicit. You're building something real, she said. Don't let go. That night, lovemaking was fervent, bodies affirming resilience. But in quiet hours, doubts whispered, sustainability? Societal pushback? Yet Jordan's steady breath against my neck anchored me. Week blurred into rhythm. Interviews yielding callbacks, my designs landing a gallery nod. A parcel arrived. Emily's return of Jordan's cufflinks. Note enclosed. Found my own truth. Brunch soon? Grace extended, wounds mending. Saturday, we volunteered at a Pride Center in Chelsea, sorting donations, painting murals of intertwined hands. Kids with flags asked our story. We shared sanitized snippets, their wide eyes mirroring our younger selves. Love wins, one piped. Every damn day, Jordan replied, paint smudged on his cheek. I wiped it, thumb lingering, a public tenderness that felt revolutionary. Evening capped with a quiet dinner at my abuela's in Queens. Rosa enveloped us, arepas steaming on the table, her gaze shrewd. Mijo, he looks at you like me Carlos did me. Her late husband's photo watched from the mantel, a blessing unspoken. Stories flowed, family lore, laughter over flan, and as we left, her cross necklace glinted. Dios bends for true hearts. Driving back over the bridge, lights streaking like shooting stars, Jordan squeezed my thigh. Your family's gold. Ours, too, in time. But storms brew eternal. A late-night call from Richard. Son, therapy? For real this time. Curt, but a crack in the ice. Jordan hung up, exhaling. Progress. Absolutely. In bed, limbs entwined, I traced his tattoos. A compass on his ribcage, inked post-college. Points true north, he'd said then. Now it pointed to us. Love, I realized, wasn't the unthinkable act, but the courageous rewrite that followed. November's chill seeped into our bones, but our fire burned hotter. Jordan landed an interview at Verdant Capital, a boutique firm in Flatiron championing green investments. Queer-friendly, mission-driven. This could be it, he buzzed over breakfast, avocado toast crumbs scattering like confetti. I sketched logos for his pitch deck, our collaboration seamless, like we'd been partners in every sense all along. The prep consumed us, mock sessions in the living room, me channeling skeptical VPs, him dismantling objections with data and charisma. Sustainability isn't a trend, he'd argue, eyes alight. It's survival, and love's the same. His passion, once leashed to corporate ladders, now roared free, and watching him, pride swelled in my chest, mingled with a fierce protectiveness. Interview day dawned gray, rain pattering against windows like impatient fingers. I straightened his tie in the hallway mirror, silk navy, echoing my suit from the wedding. Knock, metaphorical dad, I said, kissing him deep, tasting coffee and nerves. He returned flushed, victorious, offer in hand, salary modest, but meaningful. Start in 2 weeks. Elena connected me, said my story's an asset. We celebrated with rooftop beers at my building, city sprawl unfolding below, toasting to reinvention. To us, clinking bottles, the word encompassing infinities. Word spread organically. Marcus threw an impromptu dinner at his loft, potluck style, curries simmering, vinyl spinning Nina Simone. Our crew expanded. Elena joined, regaling with tales of boardroom battles. A few Saks X's trickled in, curiosity cloaked in support. Emily arrived fashionably late, chic in a leather jacket, hugging Jordan without reservation. Proud of you, she murmured, then turned to me. And you. Thanks for being the catalyst. Brunch the next weekend solidified her place in our constellation. At a sunlit spot in the West Village, pancakes stacked high, mimosas fizzing, we dissected the wreckage. I dodged a bullet, she admitted, forking fruit. But damn, the dress was killer. Laughter cathartic, bonds reforged in honesty. She even swiped right on a date app mid-meal, winking. Rebounds my middle name. Family fronts evolved unevenly. Lila orchestrated a tentative Zoom with Margaret. Pixelated faces in Connecticut kitchens, awkward small talk about whether pivoting to how are you really? Jordan's voice steadied as he shared snippets. New job, new life. Margaret's eyes welled. I'm trying, sweetheart. Book club on allyship. No effusions, but a door ajar. Richard lurked off-screen, silent sentinel, progress glacial, but present. My side embraced Fuller. Abuela hosted a full spread, pernil roasting, plantains frying, cousins piling in with spouses and tots. Jordan charmed with broken Spanish, kids clambering for piggybacks. Tia Maria pulled me aside, rosary beads clicking. He's good for you, Mijo. Eyes don't lie. Her approval, steeped in faith's quiet evolution, wrapped us like a shawl. Yet not all waters ran smooth. Social media's echo chamber amplified trolls, anonymous DMs spewing hate, predator, homewrecker. Jordan blocked them methodically, but residue lingered, nights when he'd pace, shadows deepening worry lines. Am I worth the war? He'd ask, voice small. I'd draw him back to bed, body as rebuttal. You're the peace after. Intimacy deepened, adventures in trust, toys ordered discreetly, boundaries mapped with care. One evening, blindfolds and whispers, we unearthed layers. His love language touch, mine words woven in post-glow sonnets scribbled on scraps. Creativity surged. My gallery show loomed. December, a Soho space showcasing queer artists. Jordan became muse and manager, posing for sketches in golden hour light, filtering through blinds, critiquing layouts with fresh eyes. This one's raw, like that night, he'd say of a turbulent skyline piece, evoking our balcony berth. His influence bled into work. Verdant welcomed his ideas for LGBTQ plus impact funds, a proposal earning nods from higher-ups. Your voice matters, his boss emailed. Validation, hard currency in our new economy. Holiday season glittered perilously. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield of traditions. We opted hybrid. Morning at Abuela's, turkey with a side of tostines, evening potluck with friends, dodging family interrogations. Richard's invite arrived terse, table set. One seat. Jordan declined politely, grateful, but building our own. Reply, silence, but no explosion. Christmas tested metal. We strung lights in my apartment, tinsel draped ficus as tree, exchanging handmade gifts. Me a leather-bound journal for his reflections, him a custom skateboard etched with our initials intertwined. New Year's Eve, we joined Marcus's bash in a Harlem speakeasy. Countdown confetti raining as lips met at midnight. Cheers a chorus of affirmation. January thawed resolutions. Therapy for Jordan, solo and couples. Unpacked baggage. Internalized phobias. Fears grip, loosening grip by grip. Sessions spilled into dinners. Today's win? Naming the shame without owning it. Growth tangible. Our dialogues richer. Conflicts navigated with tools beyond avoidance. Spring hinted early. Crocuses pushing through concrete. A weekend in the Hamptons. Emily's invite. Platonic detox. Saw us biking dunes. Waves crashing like applause. She coupled with a poet named Riley. Sparks evident. We toasted her glow. Envy absent. Back in the city. Milestones mounted. Jordan's first client pitch. Sealed with a handshake and ethical returns. My exhibit opening. Walls alive with color. His toast. To Alex, who paints truths we live. Tears pricked as strangers murmured appreciatives. our hands linked in the crowd. But Legacy's shadow lengthened. Richard's health scare, a mild heart episode, prompted outreach, a letter, handwritten, arriving scrawled. Scared me straight, son. Let's talk. No agendas. Jordan's reply trembled. Coffee at neutral ground, a midtown cafe humming with suits. I waited blocks away, heart in throat. 2 hours later, he emerged, drained but upright. Not fixed, but heard. Said he's sorry, for the silence, mostly. Hugs followed, tentative, progress, not perfection. Summer bloomed defiant. Pride marched us through Midtown, rainbows unfurling like veins. We volunteered again, floats thumping bass, bodies a sea of solidarity. That night, rooftop after party, Jordan proposed, not ring, but promise. Marry me? Someday on our terms. Tears mixed with sweat. Yes, 1,000 times. Anniversary neared, the wedding night's echo. We returned to the plaza, sweet hours by whim of fate. Balcony vista unchanged, city eternal witness. Champagne poured, no shattering. Toast to unthinkable graces. Love, we'd learned, thrives in fractures, mended stronger, stories etched in scars and stars. Autumn circled back, leaves carpeting sidewalks in fiery protest against winter's approach. Our first shared lease signed, a one-bedroom in Cobble Hill, brownstone charm with a tiny balcony overlooking cobblestones. Moving day chaos, boxes labeled in Jordan's neat script, my art supplies spilling chaos. Marcus muscled furniture, Lila directed with bossy flair, Emily curated bookshelves with her editorial eye. Domestic bliss suits you, she teased, stacking queer lit beside finance tomes. The space breathed us, kitchen island scarred from experimental meals, bedroom walls gallery for my evolving prints, now duets, his input shaping abstracts into shared narratives. Nights, we'd collapse amid half-unpacked relics, making love on the floor, laughter punctuating moans. Professional tide swelled. Jordan's fund launched, drawing investors drawn to his authenticity. Media snippets dubbed him the ethical disruptor. Queerness woven subtly into brand. I inked a book deal, graphic memoir of our arc, unthinkable lines. Agent buzzing about tours. Your story's universal, she said. Vulnerability thrilled and terrified. Exposure's double edge. Family weaves tightened. Margaret's visits tentative at first. Tea in our sunlit living room. Questions probing gently. Tell me about the wedding night. She'd venture, not judgment, but curiosity. Jordan obliged, layers peeling, her tears cathartic. Richard tagged along once, gruff in khakis, thawing over barbecue on our stoop. Proud son. In my way. Words waited, bridge half-built. Abuela's Christmas tamales became tradition, Jordan mastering the masa, his hands flour-dusted like a suitor's vow. Cousins ribbed, finally snagged Alex. Acceptance organic, love's logic undeniable. Challenges crested subtly. A client balked at Jordan's profile, too personal for portfolios, but he pivoted, poise unbroken. My manuscript drafts sparked arguments, too raw. I'd fret. Ross real, he'd counter, edits honing honesty. Winter's grip loosened into spring's promise. Proposal formalized, Central Park, under the Bethesda fountain, angel wings arching above. Jordan knelt, rings simple, platinum band etched with coordinates of our first NYU bench. Alex Rivera, navigate this life with me? Tears blurred his face. Yes exploded from me. Kiss ceiling amid joggers' cheers. Engagement news rippled. Lila hooped over FaceTime. Emily planned anti-wedding vibes. Richard's toast at dinner, stilted but sincere, choked us up, to futures earned. Summer wedding brewed. Intimate, Hudson Valley barn, wildflowers and string lights. Prep, joyful mayhem. Vows co-written in candlelit sessions, playlists curated with our anthems. Marcus officiated, his baritone booming humanism. Emily maid of honor, speech witty sharp. From wreckage to wonder. Cheers to that. Ceremony day dawned golden. I waited at the altar, heart thundering, as Jordan walked the aisle. Dark curls tamed, eyes locked on mine, suit hugging his frame like destiny. Vows exchanged, raw and resonant. You saw me when I hid. I choose you every dawn. Ring slid on, kiss ignited applause, reception a whirlwind of toasts and twirls. Abuela danced with Richard. Unlikely duo, her joy infectious. Night waned under stars, first dance to first day of my life, bodies swaying in sync. Honeymoon whispered, Amalfi dreams deferred for road trip, Route 66 Redux, our way. But first, quiet nights in our bed, rings glinting as hands clasped. Years folded forward. Jordan's firm grew, advocacy blooming. Panels on inclusive finance, his voice amplifying margins. My book soared, sequels sketching evolutions. Children entered equations. Adoption talks with a boy from Brooklyn foster care, wide-eyed wonder named Mateo, his laughter filling halls. Challenges endured, health scares, career dips, society's slow grind toward equity. But resilience rooted deep, therapy touchstones, friend feasts, family fusions. Anniversaries marked milestones. 5th at the plaza, balcony vows renewed, city serenade. 10th with Mateo splashing in Hudson shallows, our love's legacy rippling. The unthinkable, not the kiss, but the courage birthed from it, proof that love, audacious and unyielding, rewrites forever. In quiet moments, Jordan's head on my shoulder, I'd whisper, changed us for the better. Always, his reply, infinitely. Decades' turn brought reflections sharp as frost. Mateo, now 7, bounded through our Cobble Hill home, once cramped, now expanded with his chaos. Lego empires on rugs, drawings papering fridge. Papa Jordan, story time, he'd demand, clambering between us on the couch, his curls a wild halo echoing mine. Fatherhood's alchemy, Jordan's patience in bedtime tales, my sketches animating dragons, nights tag-teaming fevers, days marveling at his firsts, steps, words, wonder. Our love matured, vines intertwined deeper. Mornings, coffee brewed, kisses stolen over headlines. Climate winds Jordan championed, my latest exhibit buzz. Arguments flared, his workaholic lapses, my creative funks, but reconciliations tender, apologies etched in touch. Careers crested. Verdant capital scaled nationally. Jordan keynoting at Davos Light Summits. Suit swapped for earth-tone blazers. Message unwavering. Equity in ledgers mirrors equity in lives. Backlash lingered. Trolls evolved to op-eds questioning agenda, but allies multiplied. His TEDx talk viraling. The cost of closets. Views cresting millions. My memoir spawned a series. Unthinkable Lines. Volume 2 delving fatherhood's hues. Panels with queer dads. Book signings where fans shared parallels. Your story gave me mine, they'd say, tears mirroring my own. Family tapestries wove richer. Richard, softened by grandpaternity, visited weekly, stooped now, reading Mateo finance fables with gruff charm. Numbers build worlds, kiddo. Margaret hosted brunches, her PFLAG pin gleaming, stories of her evolution. Your courage cracked me open. Lila, wed to a software whiz, birth niece Sophia, playdates a riot of bilingual babbles. Emily thrived, Riley her anchor, their indie press publishing my works, brunches evolving to family barbecues. Karma's circle, she'd quip, toasting with Rose. Yet shadows tested. Jordan's burnout hit hard, 40th looming, sleepless nights questioning impact. Am I enough? He'd murmur, vulnerability raw. Therapy reignited, my hand is constant. Hikes in Prospect Park, breaths sinking, rebuilt him. Mateo's questions pierced, schoolyard taunts about 2 dads, his brow furrowing. Why can't I have a mom like Jamie? We'd sit cross-legged on his bed, books open to diverse families. Love's shape varies, Mijo. Ours is this. Pride swelled as he hugged tight. I like our shape. Global ripples, 2035's equality strides, marriage globalized, protections fortified, but pockets resisted, protests Jordan joined, sign in hand, love funds freedom. I documented, camera capturing fire in his eyes. Anniversary 20th, return to NYU roots, picnic on that freshman bench, Mateo tossing frisbee nearby. Rings renewed, vows updated. Through tempests and triumphs, you remain my north. Mateo grew, teen now, braces glinting, crushes confiding over late-night tacos. Dad Alex, how'd you know? Heart full, I'd share our tale, edited for tenderness. Jordan's legacy, scholarship fund for queer youth in finance, recipients mentored at our table. Mine, Art Foundation, workshops for marginalized creators, walls alive with stories like ours. Elder years whispered, silver threading our hair, walk slower but hands clasped firm. Abuela's passing, peaceful, surrounded, united us in grief's garden. Her final words, you made truth beautiful. Richard's decline brought closure. Hospice bedside, his hand in Jordan's. Regret the silence, son. Not the love. Peace parted him, legacy redeemed. Emily's 60th bash, beach bonfire, waves lapping, saw us dance, Riley's arm around her, Sophia, now artist, sketching flames. Full circle, Jordan murmured, cheek to mine. Legacy lived in ripples. Mateo's advocacy, Lila's policy pushes, a world nudged fairer by our spark. The unthinkable act, catalyst to a life etched in audacity. Love's proof that from ashes, eternities rise. In twilight porches, rocking chairs creaking, Jordan's gaze still ignites. Forever changed, I lean in, eternal, gloriously. Legacy's loom weaves eternal, threads of our story fraying into time's vast tapestry. Mateo, what at 25 to an environmental engineer named Kai. Ceremony in our backyard, wildflowers nodding, echoed our vows. Love defies scripts. Jordan teared up, best man once more, my arm his steady. Grandkids followed. Little Elena, named for the mentor, her giggles a symphony. Theo, Jordan's spitting image, scaling counters like conquests. Careers crested, then gentled. Jordan retired to consultancies, pinning fiscal hearts. Memoir blending boardrooms and bedrooms, bestseller buoying causes. I curated retrospectives, galleries from MoMA to MoCA showcasing unthinkable evolutions. Installations interactive, visitors tracing our path via augmented overlays. Friends' constellations shifted. Marcus passed quietly, lens left to Mateo, memorial a jazz wake, his spirit in every candid shot. Emily and Riley adopted twins, playdates a whirlwind of languages. Her press thriving, our books collaborative. Family firmament, Lila's Senate run, policy tilting toward inclusion. Sophia's murals gracing subways, colors defiant. Richard's absence ached less, his letters archived, penitent psalms to posterity. Challenges evolved. Climate migrations Jordan funded, Mateo's coming out, by fluid, our guidance unwavering. Hearts chart courses, we'd affirm, echoing origins. Travels marked maturities, Amalfi at last, cliffs crumbling into seas, hands clasped on ferries. Japan for cherry blossoms, petals fleeting as youth. Patagonia treks, winds whispering wisdoms. Health's harvest, Jordan's knee, my vision, adaptations embraced, canes as props in our comedy. Evenings, porch symphonies, violins from the park, wine sipped slow. 60th anniversary, Plaza Redux, sweet hours, balcony vista timeless. Family gathered, grandkids wide-eyed at lore. Vows whispered, from unthinkable to unbreakable. Mateo toasted, your spark lit ours. As candles guttered, Jordan's whisper, worth every shatter. Echo, every dawn. In final chapters, hospice harmony, side-by-side beds, hands laced, monitors beeping duet. Stories swapped, that kiss, the courage, grandkids clustered, absorbing. Jordan slipped first, dawn's light gilding his peace. I followed weeks later, dream haunted by green eyes. But love? Immortal. In memorials merged, art eternalized, lives launched. Our forever, a beacon, the unthinkable births beauty, humanity's holiest art.